Okay, so there's some breaking news concerning the new Wonder Woman game that we're supposed to be getting sometime in the future. Apparently, that game has been canceled, and it's something that doesn't really surprise too many people, myself included. Mainly because it seemed like this game has been in developmental hell since 2021. Because I believe that was the year the game was announced, or that was the year that we got the reveal trailer for the game. And aside from the reveal trailer, we haven't seen much or learned much about the game. We haven't seen any gameplay footage. We had no official release date for the Wonder Woman game. And honestly, this game getting canceled doesn't surprise me because like for the most part, it just seemed like people A didn't really care that much about it. B, it was something that was inevitable because Warner Brothers was actually going to do what they have done at some point. And for those who don't know, like Warner Brothers Discovery has decided to make big moves. And they decide to shut down three of their gaming studios. That includes Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and Warner Brothers Games. And and I understand why they're doing it because they're trying to do everything they can to be more cost effective because I believe last year Warner Brothers had lost somewhere around the ballpark of $300 million due to the fact that their games have been failing. I'm talking about the Suicide Squad game. I'm talking about multiverses, and even before that, Gotham Knights. Nobody really gave a damn about that, and that was from 2022. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Wonder Woman game probably would have been a bigger deal if it came out sometime during the mid to late teens, especially like during the late teens, because I believe the Wonder Woman film came out back in 2017, and there were people who actually felt like it was a decent film. That film had I think it had a budget of like 149 or $150, and it did over 800 million in box office. So that film was actually a success. But then the film that came after it, which was the Wonder Woman 1984 film, that one actually had bombed, and I believe for the most part it got trashed by reviewers. But then again, that film did come out in 2020, and that's a year that a lot of people are not fond about. It's a year that people want to forget ever happened, and it's probably going to go down as one of the worst years in history. But yeah, I feel like a Wonder Woman game probably would have done really good, or and it probably would have gotten more mainstream attention if it came out sometime during the teens decade. But I feel like after like 2020, it seems like Wonder Woman's popularity has diminished, and I could say the same thing for Harley Quinn because I remember Harley Quinn was white hot during the mid to late teens, and then I think she also had the a film that came out like in 2020. I believe it was the Birds of Prey film. Um, a lot of people were polarized by it. I feel like the film leaned more towards dislike among viewers for the most part, and it seemed like after that film, her popularity kind of just dwindled, and I don't know, she just hadn't been the same compared to how she was before 2020, and I feel like the Suicide Squad game that she was in, I feel like made a lot of people dislike her for the most part because she killed off Batman or whatever. But I don't know, that whole game for the most part was just bad, and people want to forget it ever happened. But yeah, as far as the Wonder Woman game is concerned, its cancellation I think has more to do with the fact that Warner Brothers has decided to do everything they can to try and like, restructure their company and, the typical reason as to why, companies make layoffs and shut down studios and stuff like that. And I don't think for the most part Warner Brothers has completely given up on, DC or DC characters because I feel like Superman is slowly becoming more and more popular because Superman got his own animated series back in 2023, My Adventures with Superman, and I think it's still going. It's had like 2 seasons so far, and I believe it was announced during the summer of 2024 that season three was supposed to be coming out sometime in the future. I'm not exactly sure when, and we're supposed to be getting a Superman movie this upcoming summer in July. And there are people who are probably bummed about the fact that Henry Cavill is not going to be starring in it, and I myself is kind of iffy on how that film might turn out. But we're just going to have to sit back and I guess wait and see. I mean, it might be something that knock our socks off. And if the film is really good, maybe it could put Superman back in the limelight. And I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get another like Superman game sometime in the future. But as far as Wonder Woman is concerned, I feel like for the most part, Warner Brothers had missed their chance to do something big with Wonder Woman back in the teens decade because I believe yeah, the teens decade was when the Injustice series started. The first Injustice game came out in 2013. The second one came out in I want to say like 2017, somewhere around that time period. And honestly, after seeing, Wonder Woman as like a villain or a super villain or what have you, it's kind of hard to not see her in that light. So I feel like going back to her origins in a video game is something that a lot of people really wouldn't be too interested in. If anything, people probably would have been more interested in seeing an Injustice 3, but I don't know, for whatever reason, Warner Brothers didn't want to give us that, and we're probably never going to get it for that matter. And and I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people feel as if, Wonder Woman's just better off as a villain than she is a heroine. And I don't know, I just feel like this is something that should have been done a lot sooner. I feel like a Wonder Woman game should have been done at least a decade ago or something like that. And it probably would have gotten over more with critics and with like viewers and with fans of DC, especially considering the fact that the country was different at the time. The country was more, left leaning. Nowadays, it seemed like the country is starting to become more and more right leaning, slowly but surely. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Wonder Woman game getting canceled is something that doesn't really surprise a lot of people, myself included. And yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure whether or not Warner Brothers is going to continue doing gaming um, in the next couple of years or so because they had mentioned like just completely just pulling out of gaming altogether and I guess just solely focusing on like film and television and movies and media and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like, Wonder Woman getting her own first, game that's centered around her, that would have been historic. And a lot of people feel like that's something that would have been long overdue, but it's not going to happen. It should have been done a lot sooner, but I feel like the time has definitely passed.